Hi, I'm Sheriff Don Barnes, Orange County Sheriff, and welcome to this quarter's community briefing. I'm going to speak to you about a couple of items that are, I believe, of interest to the community and some of the programs that we're innovating, and I'm going to end with some of the great highlights that we've had within the Sheriff's Department year to date. First, I want to bring to your attention that we are soon to be implementing a body-worn camera program within the Orange County Sheriff's Department. And some may ask why it's taken so long for us to get to a body-worn camera program, and that's a legitimate question. We've been looking and reviewing body-worn cameras for years. Unlike some other agencies who have recently implemented a body-worn camera program, we have had an in-car camera system for decades. In fact, we implemented that in 1989. And we are now moving towards body-worn camera. We've been reviewing that technology for some time. There's a lot of factors that go into the review of a body-worn camera program, such as bandwidth, size of the files, storage, people that it takes to add into the department to monitor and manage a body-worn camera as well. That camera will be, that body-worn camera program will be coming online hopefully by next month. We could be seeing deputies wearing body-worn cameras as soon as 30 days, and hopefully we'll start the implementation in August. The most important part about this is we have almost 2,000 deputy sheriffs within the department, and many of those who are in field operations and other units that interact with the public will be going to a body-worn camera program as well. They'll be implemented over some time, and we hope to have the full program up and implemented within about a year. And that is, of course, a contingent upon several factors about getting the resources and getting it deployed into the multiple areas that we service residents of Orange County. I want to particularly thank several people for getting this program up and operating. First and foremost, our technology division that was driving the efforts behind it, Under Sheriff Jeff Halleck, who worked on my behalf to get this implemented in very short order, and also the body-worn camera team that's been put in place. And what I really love about this is the level of transparency and engagement it brings to the organization. What I'm most blessed is the deputies who work for me have been asking for this program to be implemented, and finally, after several years of consideration, we'll be implementing that program as well. I want to give you a brief update on our COVID-19 numbers within the department, and especially some of the things that we've been dealing with within our communities. First, we have seen in the community a slight uptick in COVID-19 cases, and that's concerning because we hope we turn the corner and want to keep those numbers down. We have also seen a slight increase in the new bookings within the Orange County Jail of inmates coming to us who have COVID-19. And that's reflective, I think, of the community as well. Particularly important, though, is what we've done within service in the community and what we've done within our jails to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19. To date, we have had many different strategies we've implemented over the last several years. In fact, we started this back in March of 2020 when we first had the initial outbreak in Orange County. Our strategies put in place then are the same strategies we worked through for the last several years, and those strategies stay in place today within the jail. We have new booking quarantine, we have isolation of those who have medical symptoms, and testing, and also now vaccinations that are within the jail as well. To date, we've had roughly 2,300 positive cases within the Orange County jail system. And most of those have been fully mitigated. We do have 2 individuals who succumbed to COVID-19 while in our custody and care. But most importantly, for the last 60 days, we have not had an in-custody COVID transmission within the Orange County jail system. We currently have 3 new bookings. These are individuals who are brought to us by municipal agencies for arrests, and they brought COVID with them when they came in. Our protocols for testing, identified those individuals. We have isolated them in quarantine, and when they fully recover and test negative, they'll be incorporated into the general population with everybody else. Also, there are several lawsuits that have taken place as a result of this. I'm proud to announce that on June 10th, Judge Peter Wilson dismissed the state case against the Sheriff's Department. We filed for a motion to dismiss, and that was granted. This is the case in which in December, Judge Wilson ordered a 50% reduction, or plan to produce a 50% reduction within the jail. We're also being sued by the ACLU in federal court. This is the case that started earlier last year. We were able to go to the U.S. Supreme Court and get a stay on the order of writ that was issued by the federal court. And that case, just yesterday, our team, through County Council, filed a motion to dismiss the federal case as well on the same merits that we argued in the state case. And we hope that we will prevail in that case as well. I know that if you heard me speak before, I'm very cognizant of some of the drug trends that are occurring within Orange County. I want to bring you up to date on some of the efforts our agency has had, specific, first of all, to fentanyl. To date, we have seized 388 pounds of fentanyl over the last several years. 12 pounds in 2017, 103 pounds in 2018, 2,007 pounds in 2019, and to date, the totals that we have had. And in 2020, just last year, we've seized 1,700 fentanyl pills. And these are pills that are oftentimes clandestine produced south of the border. They're made to look like Xanax or OxyContin or oxycodone and sold as those other pharmaceuticals, oftentimes illicitly, but the individuals consuming those think they're taking a pharmaceutical drug, and in fact they're consuming fentanyl, which is 50 times more potent than heroin. The street value just for the Sheriff's Department that we have seized so far, just on fentanyl alone, exceeds $43 million in street value of fentanyl. The seizure demonstrates the risk that we have seen within the community of the proliferation of fentanyl coming from south of the border, and that has also manifested into a number of fentanyl-related deaths. We have seen a marked increase in fentanyl-related deaths. And notice I called it a fentanyl-related death, not necessarily an overdose, because the predominant number of people who are dying from fentanyl are not knowingly consuming fentanyl. They think they're consuming some other pharmaceutical when actually they're consuming fentanyl. We have seen a 1,441% increase statewide in fentanyl-related deaths over the last several years. And in the Sheriff's Department specifically, we went from 104 deaths in 2014 to 1,603 in 2019. That's a significant increase of what we have recognized throughout the state. I worked through several of our local legislators sponsoring legislation that both of them carried, Senator Pat Bates and Assemblywoman Cotty Petrie Norris, on two bills aimed at enhancing the penalties for distributing fentanyl by weight throughout the state. Currently, heroin, methamphetamine, and cocaine have enhancements for trafficking in large amounts, those narcotics, but fentanyl is not included in the enhancements for trafficking pure fentanyl. And that's disturbing to me because it's so much more dangerous than both of those other drugs. Both bills failed in committee, and they're now two-year bills. We hope to bring those back next year and be supportive of those again, and hopefully get them signed into law to add the enhancements for trafficking pure fentanyl. And these issues that we're facing on narcotics with the trends that are going up between methamphetamine increasing, cocaine increasing, and fentanyl and other narcotics coming south of the borders, predominantly because of a lack in border security. And I'm not trying to get political on this issue, but you cannot safeguard the residents of this community unless you stop the proliferation of narcotics coming from south of the border. And we do have border security. And what's most important about this, and I've spoken both with the FBI, Director Wray, and also with Secretary of DHS, Mayorkas, about these issues and why it's important to make sure we have border security to keep bad actors out, those coming to do harm to our nation, and to stop the flow of narcotics. Nobody comes to this country south of the border unless the drug cartels make money off of it and let it happen. And this is a deliberate attempt by the drug cartels, drug trafficking organizations, and transnational crime syndicates to saturate the southern border with people, oftentimes children, to defer resources away from their mission of border security into babysitting operations, which needs to stop. We need to secure our border and safeguard the residents of this country from people intending to do us harm. And we will work together on that initiative going forward. I'm also proud to announce in some of these narcotics-related deaths, specific to fentanyl, we have assisted recently the DEA in the apprehension of a 26-year-old who was intentionally distributing fentanyl, and that individual that resulted in a fentanyl-related death is going to be charged with homicide. And related to that, we have several other investigations underway as well. We're working in this arena to make sure that we keep Orange County safe and hold people accountable for their actions, oftentimes specifically and deliberately trafficking fentanyl within the community. For those family members watching today of loved ones, if you have young teens or children, please be aware of what they're doing. These narcotics are oftentimes being sold as other pharmaceutical drugs. Oftentimes, family members find their deceased child in their bedroom the morning after, unknowingly that they had consumed some illegal substance that is not laced with fentanyl. It is pure fentanyl, and oftentimes not made in a pharmaceutical grade facility, so the mixes are off, oftentimes way more potent than they think they're ingesting, and it's costing them, unfortunately, their lives, and we need to put a stop to that. When I took office in 2019, I had 5 initiatives that I ran on in my first term. And these are a summary of the 5 initiatives that I took office on. The first was vigilance and protecting the community, helping keep us safe. And this meant reducing recidivism, addressing homelessness, mental illness through many different facets. We created a behavioral health bureau recently, both in our patrol areas and within our jails, to address the issues of homelessness, mental illness, and substance use disorder. We have 50 deputies, 50 personnel assigned to address these issues just within the community, and an equal number, if not more, within our jails to address the issues impacting Orange County on those 3 social issues, really, that we are being placed on the front line to address. Recently, I acquired a long-term lease for a building in the city of Tustin. We're going to centralize many different units within the Sheriff's Department and create an Orange County Real-Time Crime Center. This would be centralizing our crime analysis unit, our dispatch, the Orange County Intelligence Assessment Center, which is our fusion center, and with resources from our municipal agencies who have offered to assist, we will for the first time have in Orange County real-time data analysis of crime happening now, and that crime which is also happening in other jurisdictions, to give a holistic approach to not only solving crimes, but preventing crimes into and through Orange County. I was also able recently, in the last year, to get increased funding from the state through the Juvenile Justice Crime Prevention Act. One program that we are most proud of within the Sheriff's Department since 2000, we have had the School Mobile Assessment and Resource Team. It's highly successful, or it's dedicated personnel that do nothing but address crime and issues on school campuses. This dedicated team has been recognized repeatedly through the state as a program that should be emulated throughout other school districts. About a year or so ago, the state came to me with an excess of funding for the SMART team, and they wanted to enhance our specific team within the Sheriff's Department. But being cognizant of the county, we took those funds and implemented other programs in other jurisdictions throughout the county to the benefit of Orange County as a whole. I'm proud to work with my partners, the other chiefs of police within Orange County, to make sure we keep Orange County holistically safe, not just the areas that are served by the Sheriff's Department. Another initiative I had was reducing the prevalence of drugs. I talked specifically about some of our efforts in abating drugs within our communities, but also through an education effort. We have rebranded our Drug Use is Life Abuse program, which is a nationally recognized program within Orange County, and we're going to be bringing that out with a new focus to intervene earlier at the appropriate level through education, through elementary school, appropriate educational product through middle school or junior high, and also through high schools, to make sure that we educate children, our young adults, first and foremost, not to start using or experimenting with drugs, and if they do happen to start making poor decisions, how to get out of the cycle, becoming addicted to narcotics. My jail system, I believe, is one of the best operating in the nation. We have implemented numerous programs within the jails specific to reducing recidivism and treating people within our jail system with the symptoms that they have. It could be mental health, it could be substance use disorder, or getting them out when they release from jail into housing rather than released into homelessness as well. And I think that we have turned tremendous corners in getting people back on their feet and offering them services while they're exiting out of our facility. What I did probably most importantly is we stopped midnight or middle of the night releases, and this is something I'm most proud of with our staff. Releasing in the morning between 8 and 10 allows people to walk in the arms of other program providers, connecting the services, or release directly to family members who can help them as well. And we're in the about the first year, coming up on the first year completion of the construction of the Music Jail in Irvine. This facility is just under 1,000 beds. In fact, it's several hundred beds less than the facility that it's replacing, but it's focused primarily in two areas: general housing that is mentally health capable for those low-level mental health people that are in custody with mental health issues, and also re-entry programming, 384 beds specific to those being released soon that we can saturate with program offerings and connect them to sustained success once they get released. Another initiative I started was about partnerships, and I wanted to really focus on several that we have been tremendous with. I mentioned earlier dealing with the FBI, our federal partners at DHS, through our Fusion Center, and one initiative I took on just about a month ago as the representative for Major County Sheriffs of America as the Intelligence Commander Group chair of that committee. And we're moving forward to reconnect the dots to make sure that we don't return to a pre-9/11 environment within the nation. And I'm proud to be leading that effort with our federal partners and those in law enforcement to make sure that we share communication that we need across the nation, make sure that we're equally prepared and can avoid at all costs what might happen and keep bad things from reoccurring. I also have an Orange County Interfaith Council that I'm very proud of as well. These are all the different faith traditions within the county, representing the Sikhs, the Muslims, the Jewish community, the Catholic community, across the board. Every faith tradition has a seat at the table, and we are talking about how we connect as one community, and more importantly, how we keep our places of worship safe. And last, one initiative I had was maintain a culture of integrity, service, and professionalism. And I think that's important to start where we are about professionalism and accountability. I mentioned a few moments ago about the Bodyworn Camera program. That's intended to be a level of accountability, also focused with maintaining the high standards of professionalism that we want to see. The other thing that we've been able to do that I'm most proud of is the retention rate within the Sheriff's Department. We have a very high retention rate. In 2019, I had 18,000 applications for deputy sheriff to fill several hundred positions. It shows that we still are a destination location for people to want to come work, which I think is very key. But retaining them for a long period of time is more important than just getting the right people. We want to get the right people, but keep them for decades, so we want to spend the money to rehire those individuals, which has a tremendous cost, and cost savings if we can avoid that. We also created a 1421 website. This is based on Senate Bill 1721 that had certain outcomes of investigations that must be reported and released to the community. You can go on our website and see all those investigative findings, including the information that we're obligated to provide. In order to maintain consistency, we post all that information on our OCSD site, ocsheriff.gov, and you can find information about those released materials there as well. And last, I was able to work through the President's Commission on Law Enforcement and Administration of Justice last year on the social issues impacting law enforcement subcommittee. I was able to testify on issues that I believe are impactful, not only to the community, but also to law enforcement, on quite honestly areas we should not be taking a leadership role. When somebody's in a mental health crisis or addicted to drugs or homeless, the first person they see or come in contact with, or the first face of government, should not be somebody wearing a uniform, a badge, and a gun. There should be some other intervention strategy that should be deployed long before a criminal law violation occurs that intercede early, getting people into programs and keep them out of the criminal justice system whenever possible. And I'm supportive of every effort that will lead us to that end, and to get law enforcement into the job that you're hired and trained to do, not acting as social workers, which is not what we are intended to do. That said, that's a high level of training that our deputy sheriffs go through in the event that we do have to intercede on one of these calls, so we can intercede appropriately and provide services that are necessary for the individuals. So let me give you some numbers of what we have accomplished the last just year to date for 6 months. So far, no hazardous devices squad, also not all the bomb squad in the Orange County Sheriff's Department. We have the only hazardous devices squad in county. We service the entirety of Orange in assistance and partnership with our municipal agencies. We have had 263 explosive incidents within the county to date and collected over 14,000 pounds of illegal fireworks. Our harbor patrol patrolling the 3 harbors, Sunset, Newport Beach, and Dana Point, and the entire coastline of the County of Orange, and taking missions on behalf of the federal government, of them part in drug interdiction and human trafficking in the waterways. We had 206 rescues to date in the first 6 months and responded over 8,000 calls for service. Our air support unit, the helicopters that we operate that manage and respond to incidents throughout Orange County, have had 883 total flights and had 66 search and rescue missions so far. Our canine program in the Sheriff's Department is quite robust. We have over canines and canine units within the Sheriff's Department, ranging from bobtail canines to cadaver canines with our search and rescue team, and we have 9 patrol canines. These are the dogs that go out and work the streets with the deputy sheriff handling calls for service. So far this year, this team, the canines specifically, have apprehended over 120 suspects during their work within patrol. Our six cops that we have: 2 street teams, 1 major team that works cartels. We have an interdiction team that works the highways to stop narcotics coming into Orange County, as well as guns and money going south back to the cartels. A parcel interdiction team as well. And I mentioned we have a mission on behalf of contract with the federal government through grant Operation Stone Garden, where we manage the waterways on our western border, that Pacific Ocean, boarding ponga boats and interceding drugs that are coming into harbors or making landings on the beaches. So far, just this year, the Sheriff's Department alone has seized 87 pounds of fentanyl, 57,000 fentanyl-produced pills, 130 pounds of cocaine, 376 pounds of methamphetamine, and that's a street value collectively of more than $28 million. Our investigative units have investigated more than 13,000 criminal cases, and so this year, our emergency management team, which has managed for the operation to date since COVID. 16 straight has been operating in response to COVID, managed the cooperation and collaboration of the Fire Authority, 3 land fires, and numerous civil unrest responses that they have made. It's the longest active response from our emergency management in the history of the Sheriff's Department. And we couldn't do it with the help of our volunteers. Our volunteer force is strong. We have over 500 active volunteers in the Sheriff's Department. Just to date, through first 6 months, they have volunteered 26,808 hours, and to Orange County taxpayers, that has a cost savings of $2.1 million by using our volunteer force, deputy sheriffs who serve in the bureau, and explorers and others who volunteer their time for the benefit of the residents of Orange County and taxpayer savers. Well, I'm also proud of the almost 4,000 positions within the Sheriff's Department. 3,700 of those positions are filled. I mentioned about a retention rate, but we have an ongoing improvement in any regard for positions within the Sheriff's Department. If you are looking for or know anybody looking for employment within the Orange County Sheriff's Department, in many regards, just deputy sheriffs, we hire plumbers, electricians, dispatchers, all types of different positions that work in the Sheriff's Department. We currently have 93 active recruitments going on in the Sheriff's Department right now. You can find more information at www.ocsheriff.gov to find out more recruitment positions that are open, how to apply, what it takes to become a member of the Orange County Sheriff's Department. I'll give you a couple of community tips as we go into summer months. First and foremost, do not become a victim of crime. There are a lot of people that aren't taking the summer vacation off. They're looking at opportunities for you to not be paying attention and taking advantage of you. These things will prevent you from being a victim of crime. First and foremost, do not leave the victims in plain sight in your car. That will invite people to breach a car or break a window to get in to steal it. Simple like loose change or a bag, they will break into if possible and can get away undetected to break into your car. At all times, leave your car locked. If you're not actively at your car, please leave it locked. Do not leave it unlocked. Do not walk away from your car, even for a moment. Leave the car running and unattended, because people will take advantage of that as well. Whenever possible, park your car inside your garage. Locked garage is the best deterrent to having your car stolen, broken, or broken. Your car is twice as likely to be broken into in your driveway, 4 times as more likely to be broken into when it's parked away from your home. That's what your garage is for. Please try to park your car in your garage whenever possible. And if you are going on vacation, have a trusted neighbor or family or watch home for you. If you're not available to do that, you can always call the Orange County Sheriff's Department through one of our great volunteers. We'll do vacation chase for you at your home while you're away. You get information from that by calling our emergency number, which is 714-770. The last number. 6011. Sorry, there's two. Sorry, the 714 number is 740-6011 is a non-emergency number. You can find information about how to have a vacation check done at your house while you're away and make sure it's safe. And lastly, and most importantly, please become a drunk driver on the road. A lot of people are celebrating during holidays. We want to make sure that you do responsibly whenever possible. If you to drink, have a designated driver or use a ride-share service. Cost DUI alone will pay for probably a lifetime of ride-share services. It's a very expensive mistake to make. And more importantly, if you get into a traffic collision while intoxicated, it can impact not only yourself, your loved ones, but other families as well. Please help us keep Orange County safe by not driving while impaired, and keep this forever in mind that the designated driver, the person that drinks, it is a person who doesn't drink at all. I want to thank you for attending today's community briefing. I wish you all a happy summer, and please, if you do celebrate responsibly. Thank you so much. Have a great summer.